Hi there, I'm Reesa, the flute instructor for Musicians Edition, and today we're going to be looking at the Musicians Edition student flute in white copper. So first, I was very impressed with this flute the very first time I played it. It was very easy to play and get good sound out of, and the mechanisms were very quiet. So let's take a further look into this flute particularly. So the student flute in white copper, the first thing I noticed was that it has rubber pieces on the trill keys and the E flat key. Okay, now that's just a personal preference. I like it being rubber more than cork because it's more durable. I don't have to worry about things contrasting and expanding or breaking off. Cork's pretty durable itself, don't get me wrong. So if you have cork on your flute, don't panic. It's still very durable. But these just happen to be a little bit more durable. The next thing about this flute, it has the split E mechanism. All right, I love the split E mechanism personally. We all know that that high E is very hard to hit. And if you're a beginner and you've never played that high E, take my word for it. It's probably, to me, it's the hardest note to play, is that high E natural. This split E mechanisms makes two of the keys function independently. On most student flutes, you don't have that, so they'll come down together and come up together. That means your high E natural is a little harder to get out and in tune. The split E mechanism really helps with that. I recommend it, and especially for beginners. Okay, the next thing about this flute, it was so shiny and beautiful when I first opened it, and I'm not sure if that's just because it's a brand spanking new flute, and when I was looking at other flutes from other companies, they're great, don't get me wrong, but they weren't brand new. They have been trialed from other people, so I wasn't getting that very first beautiful shine, though their flutes are still beautiful. This just had a different kind of shine. And then the next thing was the head joint here, or I guess the embouchure cut is more of a Z cut, which means it's not fully round. It's got like a little bit, it's square with rounded corners. It just captures the air a little bit easier. And then, like I said, the mechanisms are very quiet. So let me play the flute for you for a little bit. The low notes come out very beautifully, very easily. Yet the high notes also come out very easily. This flute really resonates and really does sing. I absolutely love this flute. I mean, to the point, thank you, Musicians Edition. They gifted me the flute so I can have one of my own. So I'm actually going to be selling the flute that I usually teach with the beginners and on our beginner series because I personally prefer this one over that one. Now, I know what some people may be thinking is they might have concerns with this flute versus the flutes from Amazon. We do have a flute saying, or a video saying that, you know, if you absolutely have to, because the Amazon flutes are cheaper. They're like $100, somewhere in that vicinity. It's been a couple years since I looked how much they actually are now, but they're around $100, okay? This one's not $100, it's a little bit more. But let's compare the two just so you kind of know the difference between the two, okay? So here is the best flute that I have from Amazon. This Nouveau flute I didn't get from Amazon, but all the other flutes I did get from Amazon. And this one's the best one. How can I define what the best one is? Well, let me tell you. Every time I ordered one of these colored flutes from Amazon, each time I received one in the mail, it was worse and worse and worse. So this one, it did come playable, all right? Its head joint feels a little funny, but the thing is, the mechanisms are so loud. Here, let me set the Musician's Edition flute down. The mechanisms on the Amazon flutes are so loud. I don't know if you can, hopefully the mic's picking that up, but all I hear is clink, 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 clink. I hear the clinking more than I do from the sound that I'm producing on this flute. I also have a hard time producing that nice, big, beautiful sound. It's a little more thin and tightened to itself. So if I'm playing with an ensemble, it's gonna just really get drowned, get lost. Playing a solo, same thing, it's gonna get lost. Sound is very small on this flute. And this is the best flute that I got from Amazon, okay? The next one, I had the red flute, and that one came and it didn't come quite playable. I had to do some tightening and loosening of the screws, which is fine for me, but from someone who's never played flute, you would have never figured that out, or it would have taken you a while. More than likely, you would have thought it was just you who wasn't playing very well when it was the flute that needed adjustments. It also is tuned weird. Like, I mean, I can sit here and I can tune it with the tuner like we normally would, but the thing is when I'm moving the half steps and the whole steps, they sound funny. It's off. It's not the same. There's like weird semitones in there. Bad. The black flute. Very similar problems to the red flute. I had to do some work on it as soon as I got it because it wasn't playable right off the bat. Okay, and then the green flute came not playable at all, doesn't seal, it literally can only play A and G, which is this. Anything after that, it can't be played. Those are Amazon flutes right here. The Musician's Edition flute is not like an Amazon flute. It comes right out of the box, ready to play. It's got full sound. It's beautiful. It works well. It's easy to play on. Just like the other regular student flutes, it's an excellent flute. I highly recommend it. I did get a studio session in with this flute. I thought it would be fun for us to take a listen with it with the studio quality mics. Amazing, right? So this flute is available, best use for students and learner students. This is not an intermediate flute. This is a student beginner flute. You can find yours in the link below or even in the shop that's down below. Get yours today.